back to the Character Corner. It's Chris and Deepom here. And we are finally doing this Character Corner on Doctor Doom. This is going to be a two-parter. We're just going to do the first part of Doctor Doom because, again, this is a huge one we're doing. So this will probably be an hour. We're going to do another Character Corner for Deadpool, and then we'll come back and do part 2 of the Doom one. But, yeah, this is part 1 of our Doctor Doom Character Corner. We're going to go all the way up from his origin through the first Secret Wars. When was that? What year was the first Secret Wars?
Ooh.
I had it because I just read it. It was, say,
84? No.
Yeah, it was 80-something.
Hold on.
Mad.
Hold on. I should know this.
Yeah, I know. I like this is one of those we should have done. I should have done a better job, but yeah, it just hit me when I'm thinking. I was like, wait, when was this? Yeah, 1984. Yeah, it's 84 through 85. So that's what we're gonna do with.
Pathetic how quickly I knew that.
Yeah. So that is how we're going. And that should tell you something. If we're stopping the first part, tell the truth, this might end up going 3.
If only because everything that happens after this first part is so much worse.
Yeah. Yeah, this is I read this stuff and going through this from his first up to into the Secret Wars, the first Secret Wars, and I'm like, this is gonna sound weird, but I'm like, he's not that bad.
Oh, he's pretty bad.
He's bad, but like you said, it gets so much worse.
He takes the power of the Beyonder through sheer force of will.
He's a scary dude.
He's terrible.
He's a terrifying dude, but a fair leader, in a way.
His people love him.
His people fucking love him, and we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, first appearance of Doctor Doom. Was it Fantastic Four number 5 and number 6?
Yep.
Yeah. Even from there, just like this all starts with him trying to, because I always wondered, the actual powers of Doctor Doom, because unfortunately they've never done him right in live action. So
come on.
I mean,
we'll get to the other places this character appears later, and I'll deal with that then. Don't you worry. I'm ready.
But yeah, his power base is kind of a little over the place. He's got mystical powers. He's got his genius and his Doombots and his technical prowess. He's got, his mental, I think they just call it willpower. Mm-hmm. Just sheer willpower. It's not really telepathy, but he's powerful enough to kind of stop other telepaths from really messing with him. He's also
your own holiday of power. He has his own holiday.
Well, I mean, he has his own country. I mean,
but he has a holiday named Doomsday in his own country. That's like basically Mardi Gras. Like, I think that should be a power.
Yeah. I mean, it's just super level, super genius level intelligence, indomitable will. That's what they call it. Indomitable will. He's able to resist this psychic attacks from Emma Frost and the Purple Man. And then they have stuff like diplomatic immunity, which
that may be the greatest power.
Yeah, that power is up there with Batman's power being his wealth.
Super rich.
Right. Dr. Doom's power is the fact that he got diplomatic immunity.
To the point where Captain America has been his bodyguard before.
Dude, like... Can you imagine? Like, just... Yeah, you can't touch me. I have diplomatic immunity. But you're Doctor Doom. Yes, but I'm here on a diplomatic mission, so you can't touch me. Yeah, like, but the main source of his power is his mystical background, his magic, and it kind of comes from his mother. Learning about his mother, who was it? Mephisto took the soul of his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the weird one where once a year he fights Mephisto for his soul of his mother.
Right.
Like, when you do that once a year, you have no choice but to be evil.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Mephisto's basically the devil.
Right. So he fights the devil once a year for the soul of his mother.
I mean,
I'm not fucking with this guy. Just, I don't know what you. I don't know.
He goes toe to toe with the devil, and then at the end he's like, "All right, see you next year."
Right. Same time, same place. All right, cool.
Yeah, man. It's good workout.
Yeah.
What?
Good God, yo. But again, so like, he was, he had a mini rivalry, if you will. I guess I call it mini because I don't think Reed really knew that it was a rivalry with him when they were back in.
That's the best kind of rivalry. You don't even know we're beefing.
Yeah, and he tried to help Doom with the calculations, and Doom. I guess the one weakness I've seen is always listed as one of Doom's weaknesses is his ego and his inability to see anybody else as his equal or even his superior.
I can't wait till we get to the second half of this comic character corner, and we have to revisit that because I'm going to ask you again: is it ego if you can back it up?
What? Valid. That's we've talked about this before. So it's a valid point.
Is it ego like people say? Like, is it like a Steph Curry holding the hand up at the end of the three, or shooting and then staring at the other team's bench before it goes in because you know it's in? Is that ego?
Yeah, I mean it's weird because the early the first part of this character corner is gonna be interesting because early Doom they kind of didn't realize how powerful they're gonna make him because they have him do some stuff, and honestly some of the times that he's defeated it's only through like trickery. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of like when Thanos got the Infinity Gauntlet and they were only able to beat him through trickery then too, you know. Mm-hmm. That's what it was like with Doom. I mean, at one point, he steals the Silver Surfer's cosmic power.
This is going to be a three-parter, isn't it?
Yeah, this is going to be a three-parter.
This
is going to be a three-parter. He steals the Silver Surfer's cosmic power. And just like, when you do that, you do realize this guy is, you can't.
No, not just that he did it. When he did it. So Silver Surfer, just to give you a reference, the Galactus Trilogy had just occurred. Possibly the greatest three comics in the history of mankind. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby at the height of their powers. In saving the planet Earth from Galactus, the Silver Surfer had been banished to be trapped on Earth. One of the most powerful beings in the cosmos. But he'd sacrificed his ability to leave Earth to save us. How does Doom thank him?
Stealing his power.
Stole all his power in his surfboard.
And then and stealing his surfboard, his power, and then locking him in a dungeon.
You know
and
why?
Then refusing to kill him.
Dick.
Right. Like at one point he goes, I could kill him, but this is the worst punishment.
Yeah.
Like he's a dick.
He's a dick. I mean that's it. Mm-hmm.
And there are times when like again, I guess what I mean when I say the thing that stops Doom is his ego it's not even really ego, it's overconfidence.
That's true.
Because there's times when there are several times where he has a Fantastic Four and all the people beat. And his thing is, no, I'm going to let you live so you can witness my power. And I'm
you
like,
have to know that I beat you.
Yeah, so you can know I beat. I'm like, no, dude, you should probably just kill them. You should probably just kill them. Like, you probably shouldn't do that. That's not smart.
Chris, you probably shouldn't be giving Doom suggestions.
Right, and I'm probably going to die because of that. So, but I think that's what it is. So it's not really ego, because like you said, he can back it up. Like, he is one of the most fearsome people. Like, when we get to the Secret War stuff, not the newer Secret War stuff, like the old Secret War stuff, like, Doom is a fucking that monster. Like, and I don't mean that like in the sense of like he's killing everybody. It's like he's like you can't fuck with him.
You can try.
You can try, but
it's not advised.
Right. And so the other stuff is what's the name of his country? I always forget. Latveria. So that's his other thing too. So that's why you have diplomatic immunity. He's the ruler of this country. He has deposed the I guess. I don't want to say rightful king, because when Doom saying he's king, then I can't say that you were rightful king if you're not Doom.
Exactly.
But he's done that. That was That was an interesting one between I think it was a Fantastic Four 196 through 200, where they had was it Zorba was the one who was leading a rebellion to depose Doom, and succeeds with the help of the Fantastic Four. Now, what becomes interesting is when you go, and I mean, they had Reed Richards and Doom have this really big epic fight in 200. In 246 and 247, Doom returns. I think he had been back for a few issues before then, stuff like that. But he goes to return and return his rightful place as king. And he gets the Fantastic Four, and he's like, "You're going to help me." And they're like, "Why would we ever help you take back your country?" And that's when you find out that his people fucking love him.
Under Doom, everyone eats, everyone works, and Doom is Lord.
And there's no crime.
And there's no, because who would dare defy that Lord?
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting to me about this is, it reminds it's such a political thing. It reminds me of like what we see today, where we had the U.S. come in. We're gonna depose this dictator because he's a dictator and it's wrong, and we shouldn't do that. Then you find out you created more of a mess. That's kind of what the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards and them find out.
That's exactly what they did.
They help these rebels take over and dispose Doom and get rid of him. Then they come back when Doom brings them back, and they realize it's like the people fucking like. There's a woman
that
runs
love Doom. Zorba, excuse me, is a dick.
Oh, a huge dick.
Like, say what you about Doom, he loves his people and he protects them.
Mm-hmm.
Zorba was one of those indulgent, just look, I'm putting himself above everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it became less of for me, it became less of, Doom's the best choice here, to Doom saying, I have to save my people.
You know what it reminded me of? Because you saying that just reminded me, it sounds a lot like Black Adam.
Yeah.
The whole Black Adam.
For him, for Doom, at that point, if he said, I have to have my country back because I want my country back, that would have made him a one-note joke.
Mm-hmm.
But to say, I need to get my country back to save my people because the person you put in place is destroying them.
Right. And you did it and then didn't look back. Like you turned a blind eye, you never came back.
Action and just said, well, that's done now, Doom's gone.
Mm-hmm. And
just because my name is Doom.
And I think that's the thing that makes, to me, I think these are the two issues that kind of really really define Doom, because it makes him so much more than just the evil villain. And it comes into play more, and again, we'll get into Secret Wars last. It happened the same thing with Magneto, where the most interesting characters you have, the most interesting villains are villains where they actually still have some redeeming qualities, and they still, as evil and as they are, they come out and they do something, and you're just like, hey, that was evil as shit, but he had a fucking point. And you see that here with Doom. Like, you can get rid of him, you can say Doom is evil, you can't trust Doom and stuff like that, but at the same time, you have a country full of people who love him to death. And I didn't realize it until later on. I didn't realize so when they first show up with Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, a woman runs out and is also thankful that Doom has come back. He has a little young son, and the son had run into Doom, and Doom was gonna like, how dare you touch Doom? But he didn't do anything to the boy. Turned out I didn't know that boy was Kristoff.
That's Kristoff, exactly.
That is that would later become the adopted son of Doom. And I did not know that's who that was, because the secret police robots, and it's very 80s, guys. Again, we're dealing with we're going from the 60s to the 80s with this first set of Doom stuff. So it's very 80s. And again, when you're dealing with Doom anyway, you're dealing with a lot of robots. They kill his mom. And I was just like, oh man! Like, I thought at the end of that the arc, nothing happens with the boy at the end of the arc. I was like, damn! I wonder what happened to that orphan boy. And then I read later, I'm like, oh wait, that was Kristoff. Oh, he becomes, Doom takes a liking to him.
The heir of Doom.
Right, the heir of Doom. That is okay. Again, you're like, he's evil, but
he's not wrong.
Right, that's actually kind of a nice thing to do. Like, does Doom have a heart?
Of course he does. Like,
right. Let's
you haven't read the second half.
Right. I'm gonna wait. We'll revisit your answer when we get to the second half of it.
We'll see what you say in a few weeks.
Right. Let's wait on that. You know, I mean, it's you know, and even at the end of this, when he finally kills the current leader. And he basically, again, the arrogance. He tells the Fantastic Four is like, I'm gonna let you guys leave.
Yeah.
Like, not thank you for helping me. Not I'm gonna do better. No, you can leave now. Next time I see you, though, I will destroy you.
Purpose to do. Mm-hmm. That's it.
He's very self-serving.
And a lot of third person.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of third person.
Yeah. Well, when you have them put your armor on before it's cooled.
I didn't say he was wrong. I just noted a lot of third person. That's all I was saying.
Very, very, very. But I guess we can't really go very into this Doom character corner without talking about like his rivalry with Reed.
Oh Lord.
Which, you know,
I think putting mildly, it got a little out of control.
You think?
I was trying to understand it. It may have gotten a little out of hand.
Like, what was interesting to me is the fact that when Doom first kidnaps in Fantastic Four 4 or 5, when he first kidnaps the Fantastic Four, Reed doesn't even really know who he is. Reed is like, wait, I think I know that voice. Like, what is that the guy who was in school with me who blew up his lab and kind of burned his face?
The ultimate disrespect.
Right.
Oh, don't tell me. I know this. New phone. I'm sorry. Who's this? Mm-hmm. Because I felt like, and I'm not saying Doom's right because I'd tell Doom he's right, but like I get it.
Yeah.
Like we all got someone who. I mean, we all at some point in our lives had like an internal rivalry with someone who didn't know we were beefing. Mm-hmm. Whether someone's better you at work or better you at a sport or something. Like Michael Jordan is basically Dr. Doom in that he lives off imagined slights. Mm-hmm. And
the thing about it is, it's really Doom's own creation because again,
100%.
It was his own arrogance for not like Reed was just trying to help him out. Like Reed, like there were several times I think they kind of again, 80s they had no problem spending a couple a panel to re-explain an origin. So it happened several times where they kind of re-explain the rivalry between how it started between Doom and Reed. And all times Reed is kind of like he's just trying to help. It's like, hey man, we're scientists. We're gonna be in the same. You want a room together, or we're gonna work together? And you know, and the arrogance of Doom, of Victor, is just to be like, how dare you? You know.
Not only do I not need you, how dare you even entertain the thought that I could?
Mm-hmm. And he would not. He does not entertain the idea that Reed could be his equal intellectually. And so
anyway, not just intellectually. Mm-hmm. Like he thinks he's not just smarter than Reed. He thinks he's a better person than Reed. Mm-hmm. He thinks he's morally superior as well.
Right. And again, this all come back from him trying to develop a machine that could have him free the soul of his mother, you know, from the devil. And the machine exploded. Like I said, Reed tried to help him. Reed tried to say, hey, I think you wanted. Reed was like, yo, I think you left a 0 off.
Basically.
I think you left a 0 off of your calculations. You might want to rethink that. And he did not.
He chose not to.
He ended up getting expelled. And he continues to travel the world to learn more about magic and the mystical powers and mystical arts. I think that's when he goes to Tibet and he gets his suit of armor created. And that's when he goes and overthrows the leader that's in Latveria. And from there he just starts, you know, scheming his. like it's kind of twofold. Is one is to scheme against the Fantastic Four, but it's also, at least for the first part, for first several of these books, is to do the whole thing with his mom and get his mom's soul back. So I think it's again, it's one of those things where you're like, well,
it doesn't come from an inherently bad place. It just went really poorly.
Well, that's one thing I've always wondered, because again, Doom's also other thing is he's very obsessed with power. Right. So I've always wondered that, like, we can say that it doesn't come from a bad place because it sounds very noble. We're trying to save the soul of his mom, but maybe he's trying to save the soul of his mom so he can gain more power. That's
the other thing.
Because that is, if there's another weakness, if you will, with Doom beyond his arrogance, is his obsession with power. If there's power in the world, Doom will soon be after it. And so nothing he does is truly out of the goodness of his heart, because he has no heart.
That's a very good way to look at it.
So I've always wondered, and so when I'm reading this stuff and I'm seeing this stuff about, because there's another issue we have in there where he's trying to get this, he's trying to go back into time to contact, I can't remember what her name was, but this other sorceress to help him with his power, so he can try to again contact his mom. So he's trying to get these materials from Stark International. And this is back when nobody knew that Tony Stark was Iron Man, and that Iron Man was just Tony Stark's bodyguard. And Doom was paid for this equipment, and so at this point, I'm kind of thinking that he's not wrong. But then Iron Man and Tony Stark is kind of right in not accepting the fact that if Doom wants this stuff, it's probably not for a good reason.
Probably shouldn't give it to him.
Probably should have given it to him. But Doom had to have a good point. It's like, I paid for that shit, so you need to give it to me. It's not wrong. Like, 'cause I never heard Tony say, I'll give you your money back.
That's... I think Tony would be like, you're right, I never said that.
Right. So... like, dude, either give him his money back or you give him the equipment. Like, you can't have it both ways.
So I included those issues on this list because I think it showed for the first time for me, and like continuity wise, what a great counterpoint Doom is to Tony Stark as well.
Right. Like, there was a part towards the end where they ended up having to work together, and like, again, Doom doesn't know that Stark is Iron Man, but they have to work together with their technical prowess, and you're like, you see that, like, Doom knows his shit, and he's kind of, like you said, it almost reminds me of what Tony Stark could be if he had been turned evil.
Yeah,
and had mystical powers.
Also that,
and it's very, very scary.
I think Tony Stark actually is pretty scary.
No, he is, but at least he's on our side.
He's not Doom scary. No,
yeah, he's on our side, if you will, quote unquote. So there's that. And Doom's also, he's good at manipulating other people into doing his will. I think some of those earlier Fantastic Four things, there's where he tricks Namor into helping him.
Fantastic Four 6.
Right. And again, like what he says to Namor and getting him to kind of help him, because at the time Namor's like, hey, I don't want to really fight the Fantastic Four because that means I have to fighting Sue, and he has a thing for Sue. Mm-hmm. Doom still is able to kind of convince him to do his bidding, because Doom is very convincing, even without his using his indomitable will. Just he makes some points that you can kind of agree with. It's like, hey, yeah, they did destroy your city with their nuclear bomb tests. Mm-hmm. So don't you want to kind of come help me? Come on, guy. Don't you want to kind of do that? And but then of course, again, Doom's never about doing things to help other people.
Doom's a dick. If there's one thing when people take away from Doom is a dick.
Yeah.
There's an issue I didn't have you read. It's a Here's for Hire issue. It's Luke Cage here for hire, and he goes to Latveria because Dr. Doom sticks him out $200.
Oh yeah.
And it's been memed all over the internet. It's like a running joke on the internet now. But I don't need that to be reminded that one time Dr. Doom hired Luke Cage for a job, did not pay him, so Luke Cage flew to Latveria and punched things until Doom was like, you know what, man? Here's your $200. And he didn't ask for airfare. He didn't ask for any other costs. He said, "Oh, my 200. Here's 200 out."
He paid more than $200 to get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, but just I need to point. People say, "Oh no, Doom's not a dick. He paid him."
Who says
oh,
Doom
no.
is not? Who says
Doom's
Doom is not
a dick? But he's a dick with a code of honor.
Who says Doom is not? Who would ever?
I'm just saying hypothetically, someone could possibly take the stance that he's not a dick. I want to refute that. Doom is a dick. He's a petty dick who held out on $200, but he's a dick with honor.
Yeah, well, because again, this goes back to the thing, and we talked about this during our New Avengers when we're doing this. It's different when you have characters who are also leaders of a nation.
Correct.
Because it adds something in. It's like that's the thing that made Namor so different. Black Panther, T'Challa, like that makes him different from other villains and characters. I think that's also what kind of elevated Magneto as well. Like once you become a leader of a nation, you have different responsibilities, and certain things that are not petty to other people or beneath other people suddenly become beneath you. And when you are already a dick, like Dr. Doom, imagine how many more things now become beneath you. And that's what happens with Doom. Like he views so many things beneath him because they're not relevant. He almost sees himself as a god. Mm-hmm. You know? And that plays so heavily into when we get into, you know, the current Secret Wars run that just finished with Hickman. You know, he finally becomes the god that he's kind of always considered himself to be. You know, and yeah, like when you're that way, you're gonna be a dick. So let's we kind of cover most of the issues that we talked about. Let's get into these the first Secret Wars, the 1984 Secret Wars stuff, where the Beyonder takes a group of villains and a group of heroes and creates this, I guess, battle world to fight on. And Doom is among them. The first thing Doom's like kind of the first one to figure it out.
Right. Because he's Doom.
Yeah, he's Doom. And he's just like, Doom himself is like, yeah, we shouldn't do this. Which is interesting to get. It's Doom. Like,
this is a bad idea.
Yeah, this is Doom. Like, and you're like, okay, you got a bunch of heroes, you got a bunch of villains. You would think Doom would take charge of the villains and be like, listen, we're gonna go kill these humans, the heroes, and get over with. Doom is the first one to go like, yeah, we shouldn't fight each other. We shouldn't do this. We should form a common ground. And again, nothing Doom does is out of the goodness of his heart. He doesn't have one. But he actually tries to go and find Reed so they can talk and be like, listen, let's work together on this. He tries. He does.
I love how you're giving Doom credit.
But no, it's what happens.
I'm not saying you deserve it. I'm saying you're right. You're right. But it's funny for both of us to just hear you be like, he tried.
It was in the very loosest sense of tried. Meaning he shows up. He had gotten knocked out of the sky, almost killed by Kang, and he shows up, and I think Captain America and Reed like have the audacity to want to help Doom up. Like it's something so stupid.
You can't help Doom. Like,
right?
Is it stupid, Chris? Is it stupid?
I mean, when it's Doom, I guess it's not.
All right then. Is it stupid? Would you? That's it. What reaction were you expecting?
What? I don't know. But here's the thing. Like, I don't know. What do you do? Like, so Doom gets shot out of the sky at your feet. Now you have two choices. You can help Doom up, and then now he's looking like you help Doom, and Doom's like, Doom doesn't need help. Or you can not help Doom, and so now you're like you're the insignificant person who doesn't help your superior. So it's like a bad choice either way.
My thing is, you've tried the other thing. You've tried to help Victor before Reed. Like if Reed reached for him, I would have loved to Captain America like, Reed, really? Like what in your past dealings with this man say helping him up is a good idea?
Maybe I would have looked the other way and just been like, I didn't see nothing happen.
Look, you'd be like, I didn't see you fall. As soon as someone trips, you're like, I didn't see that. You could.
Right. You meant
Play
to
it
do
off.
that.
Just walk it off. You're good. I didn't. No, I didn't see it.
You meant to do that.
Yeah, you. Oh, that was on. You meant to do that. Good way to play that.
Yeah, I don't.
There's no good answer.
Yeah, there's no good answer for how you handle that. And so Doom takes it as a slight that he was dared offered help and decides, fuck this, I'm going to go do it myself. You know?
And the fucked up part is he does.
That's the scary part.
I don't need anyone. I'm going to do this by myself. And he does it.
What ends up following is 12 issues of Doom basically playing all the sides against each other while he amasses enough power to take on the Beyonder himself. And it is... Actually, no, it's not even 12. It's like 10 because he gets the power.
He gets the power in 10.
10. So, and I think that's why the Secret Wars to me was a good stopping point for this. Because once you do that to Doom and you start realizing how much of a problem Doom... Like, he's been a problem before, but he took on the Beyonder and was getting beat. He had gotten beat. And it was sheer will power that got him to work through that. And it's just, you know... And again, the entire time he's scheming on different things. He's playing... He takes, I think he... What did he call his base? Doom base? He takes over, when reading them, he leaves reading them, he goes, finds the villain base, and the villains go out there, get their asses kicked by the heroes, and they come back, and he's basically like, okay, cool, this is Doom base. This is what we're gonna do. And you guys are gonna listen to me now. I'm in charge. And he basically he's using everybody else's pawns to keep themselves distracted while he tries to figure out different ways. And again, I think he takes the power from Galactus. Yep. He schemes on Galactus, who was going to take the energy from his base and from his from the world. And Doom is able to scheme a plan to take that power from Galactus and steal it all. It's like when you're dealing with a guy like this, and again, his whole thing was to get power, which I think that's when I think Doom becomes scarier also with this. Because before it was Doom trying to, there was some kind of good motive there that maybe it was to get more power, but again, it's to save the soul of his mom.
Yeah.
So you can kind of, okay.
You can talk yourself into it.
You can talk yourself into it. This is nothing about more than Doom wasn't trying to escape. He wasn't trying to, we need to all work together. No, Doom was like, we need to all work together so I can get this great power. That's there.
You showed him power, and his instinct is never to run from it. It's to figure out a way to seize it for himself.
Yeah, it's
most people would be literally cowed by the idea of his ultimate power.
Well, at the beginning, when Galactus goes to try to confront the Beyonder, Doom follows Galactus, and he sees that Galactus gets smacked down by the Beyonder and kind of knocked unconscious for a while. Doom seizes and Doom just goes, "Oh yeah, I need that."
Where can I get me some of that?
He's like, "Oh, that's some good shit right there. I want some of that." And again, and that also came with his whole thing with taking the Silver Surfer's powers and the contact from there. Now it's like, okay, I need to one up that. And to me, and I guess we'll see this as we go forward with this, Doom's thing is always trying to one up himself and getting more power. And it kind of, again, it comes to fruition in this latest run of Secret Wars, where he actually, at the end of New Avengers, when he does get that. But I think there's nothing scarier than that. A guy with different.
A guy who always wanted ultimate power and then got it.
Right.
Because it's not like you gave ultimate power to someone who wasn't ready for it, or someone who had never considered what they would do. You give it someone who's literally dreaming for it his entire life. And not just dreaming, planning.
Yeah.
It's Doom is. And that's just kind of the way he's been used, especially in the Marvel Universe, because a lot of these issues are Fantastic Four based, but the Secret Wars was the first time that this is a Galactus level threat.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just a monarch of a country. He's not just, excuse me, messing with the Richards family. He's not just stealing Silver Surfer's powers while being trapped on Earth. This is something that was a threat to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And this was kind of his coming out party on that respect.
Right. He comes across it, and then he needs it more.
It's not like he saw the thing that took out Galactus and said, "Oh, that's scary. We should all figure out how to work together." He's like, "Oh no, that's what I need some of."
Untaught power, stuff I need. Let's do it. And what I think that's what the other scary thing about Doom is. He does it. He always does it. Like, it's one thing when you have somebody who always sets their sights, at this far off goal to get, but they never can achieve it. The scary thing about Doom is, for the most part, he achieves it.
Right.
Even if it's just fleeting, he gets it, and it can be scary. Like, excuse me. He constructs one of the ways he drains the power of the galaxy. He constructs the device out of the body of Claw.
Mm-hmm.
He literally cuts him. He literally dissects him into little lenses, and uses his body in these lenses to drain the power from the power of Galactus. Then he uses that to go and confront the Beyonder, and it's crazy because, again, you see, like, at one point he tries to contact the heroes and get Magneto and them to lend him power so he can take on the Beyonder. But I think it's Captain America and Reed kind of go, no, we can't help him. Like, you can't give him that power, because he made it seem like, hey, listen, I'm taking on the Beyonder for us. But I think that was not the first time, but he's never really trusted him. But Reed was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we can trust Victor with that kind of power. Which he's right. He can't.
Right.
But it's, and I think that's what gets scary is, so they don't give him that, they don't lend him power. Doom does it on his own. Like, that to me is even scarier.
He asked for help. They said no. He said fine.
Yeah, fine. I'll do it myself. Fine, I'll do it myself. And he does. And so he gets the Beyonder's power. And he is so powerful. And I think, like, I don't think he doesn't do anything necessarily at that time that makes that is that bad.
Well, he tries to use the power judiciously. He even says he won't sleep because his dreams could destroy the universe.
He had killed Kang for trying to kill him. He brings him back. He brings him back. He tells the heroes, listen, ask me whatever you want, I'll give it to you. I'll do it for you. Like,
yeah,
he turned into, I would say, the leader he is back home, where he's like, I'm the leader now. I'm gonna do what I need to do for my people.
Because he elevated himself to a point where his power was unquestionable.
Mm-hmm.
And Latveria, his power is unquestionable.
Yeah,
he'd done that himself on the mortal plane, so there's no time for petty fights. He's like, I need to make you guys happy. You're my subjects.
Mm-hmm. And again, not that I disagree with them. The heroes are like, no, we gotta stop this. We can't do this.
They did have to stop it.
Mm-hmm. The Beyonder, though, does kind of trick Doom into getting his power back.
Of course.
But you get a glimpse of what it's like that you have if Doom does get this ultimate power, and it's something that we see later on when you get to the last Secret Wars that you just did with Hickman, that it's weird, it's like you want to say you can't give Doom that kind of power, but he never does anything, I would say, that's too bad, but you just know it's like a ticking time bomb.
It's going to go bad.
Right.
It's all about when.
Because it's nothing he can do. Like he can't control that. He's, I don't want to say unstable, but like what happened when you give a man with who seeks ultimate power? You know,
When you get the man who has everything,
right? More power.
Exactly.
It's yeah. So I don't know, man. Like that is the thing we get when you get the first set of Doom. You basically get his origin, and then when you end with that first Secret Wars in the 1984, 85, you get Doom in his first real taste of absolute power. Mm-hmm. And I think it goes downhill from there. Not like in a bad readership way, but like in terms of the Marvel Universe having to deal with Doom.
Yeah.
It was
bad. It was bad when he had the power cosmic.
Mm-hmm.
This is worse.
Right.
And it made him hungrier.
Right.
All right, so we've got 15 minutes left. Do you want to do this other media?
Real quick, before we do that, I guess we didn't talk too much about it, but Doom does, in addition to his little substitute, Doom has his Doombots, which are always interesting because they're set up in a way that I find interesting. Where if he can leave because he's not always home, so you never really know if it's a Doombot or it's a really Doom, because when they're not around other Doombots or Doom himself, they believe they're Doom. Mm-hmm. And again, I guess that shows you the technical prowess of himself. Like he kind of puts in a failsafe. It's like, hey, if I'm around, then you guys are going to understand that you're Doombots and that you guys are loyal to me. Or you're around other Doombots, then they'll understand the thing. But when you're just by yourself, you'll fully believe you're Doom. And you see, he uses that at one point when it was to was that time to capture the Fantastic Four to go back? Yeah. So when he uses it in 246 and 247 when he captures the Fantastic Four so he can have them help him take his throne back. Mm-hmm. He uses Doombots, and they're not as powerful as Doom, but they can be just him and his robotic shit can really rival Tony Stark.
And if you're listening to this and you're saying to yourself, wait, I remember an issue where Doom was beaten by some off-brand superhero. I'm here to tell you that was a Doombot.
Right.
And they've done that in retcons for years. Anytime that they've tried that someone has gone off the reservation and made Doom look weaker than he should, it's been retconned almost immediately. Oh, my Doombots are acting up again, or that Doombot went rogue.
Right.
So
it's an easy out.
He's even meta protected by writers.
Yeah, I mean it's
that may be his greatest power of all.
Yeah, it's an easy out though when you think about it, and it makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Because and again, this is something that they've dealt with since I don't know when the 40. I guess that was probably what 70s or 80s with those 246 and 247. Like those are like you establish a Doombot. So once you establish them, and that it's hard to tell if it's really Doom or not, you can do this now. You have a built-in way of going back and again you can call it a retcon, but then it's like it could just be true. Right. So yeah, such and such beat Doom. It's like, well, yeah, it just was a Doombot.
Unless it was Squirrel Girl, because that's her power.
Yeah, that's fine.
All those things actually happen.
Yeah. That's
other media, and I'm not going to go to the ones you want me to go to first. Doom has been featured in almost every Marvel television production, including but not limited to the 1981 Spider-Man series, Fantastic Four animated series, Spider-Man animated series, the most recent Avengers animated series. He's been kind of co-opted almost in those series as a counterpoint to Iron Man as well, owing back to things that we mentioned in this character corner. He's also in a lot of video games. He's a bad guy in a lot of video games. He's the main bad guy in the critically acclaimed Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and you can tell I'm avoiding this right now. Fine. He's in the movies. He was in the original unreleased movie from 1994 by Roger Corman. That if you can find it on the internet, you should watch because it's hilarious.
It's not good.
It's not. Oh, it's really
it's
good.
Not good. It's not good at all.
And then in 2005, he was in Fantastic Four.
2005, and then it was 2007 when they did this.
Oh,
rivalry.
05, 07, and 15 are the three mistakes.
I don't understand how it's so. First of all, I don't understand why it's so hard for them to do Doctor Doom's looks. Forget everything else. Can we just get the looks down? Like, how hard is it to put a guy
closer in Secret Surfer, Silver Surfer?
Yeah, but it's like, how hard is it to do?
Apparently a lot.
You just put him in some medieval armor and a green cloak, and you're good.
The thing that gets me is they keep wanting to make him. They want to tie him to the Fantastic Four origin too often.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I just don't get it. In the 2005 movie, he's literally funding the experiment and using Reed Richards to pull it off. I don't get it. And you know what? That's not even the point that I don't get the most. What I don't get is, how do you miss this noble yet flawed character? That's all. Noble but flawed. Mm-hmm. And then the word dick right underneath. How you screwed that up? I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't see 2015 Fantastic Four. They screwed up there too.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, cool. How do you screw up a formula that simple? It's that simple. They've gotten closer to Magneto.
Way closer.
Way closer to Magneto.
They get listen. Say what you want about the X-Men movies. They, for the most part, they get the fundamental idea of Magneto.
Yeah, they get the Magneto and Professor X. They get the schism.
Yeah, like they
may
nailed
not
that.
Expound on it very well.
Mm-hmm.
But they understand the differences.
I don't understand how you can't get that between Doom and Reed. Why do you don't like?
How the fuck have you not gotten Doom and Reed right?
Like it's up there with Magneto and Charles Xavier. I mean, I don't understand. Like it's like I said, ING has him listed as number 3 on their greatest comic book villains of all time. It's like, this is one of the and he's after Magneto and Joker. Like, it's like, he's up there. Like, how do you keep messing up Doom? Especially when you, like I said, we're going to break this into at least 2, maybe 3 parts to this character corner. Like, there's so much material there. How do you mess that up? And it's so easy
because people want to make the rivalry personal, and we're going to touch on that in the 2000s when it gets super personal between Reed and Doom. There are ways to do it.
Well, I mean, the easiest way is, again, like, they went to school together. You know, like, the origin is pretty simple, and you can make it.
It shouldn't be as complicated as they're making it.
Yeah, you don't have to tie him to the creation of the Fantastic Four, because again,
it cheapens everything if you do.
Right, because again, like, the whole thing is he's beefing with Reed, and Reed doesn't even know.
Hold on, time out. So Chris, 2005 Fantastic Four. He's with the team when they all get their powers.
Mm-hmm.
He's mad at Reed for getting the powers he got. Why the fuck wouldn't Ben join him?
Right. Right. Right.
I mean, what are we doing here, guys?
You know? And again, you have, like, I think when you know, even if you get rid of the whole thing with him, you know, the mystical powers and them trying to, you know, revive the soul.
Just make an evil Reed. Make him science unburdened by morality. Right.
Seeking power.
Seeking power.
And he's never satisfied. And then again, to me, you can't have Doom. Like, this is in a way where I think that sometimes we'll see how they pull it out, but I think that maybe DC has the right idea. Sometimes you need to just have characters show up and they're already in their state. Mm-hmm. I think if you're ever going to do a Fantastic Four movie, and hopefully the rights go back to Marvel, if they ever do that, I'm hoping Marvel does what I think they'll probably do, which is you already have Doom existing and he already has his own country and he's already there. Like, start from there. Like, forget doing the origin anymore. Start from Doom already being ruler of his own nation.
I don't get it, Chris.
Start from there.
This seems like something you shouldn't be able to screw up.
It's so simple. But they can't even get the look right. Like, I don't understand. His look is just, it's so.
Because look what we're on film. Hey, remember Iron Man? Take the silver suit and put a cloak over it.
Right. Oh my God, it really is.
What the fuck are we doing?
It really is the Mark I with a cloak over it.
What are we doing here?
Oh my God, it really is.
No, the audiences won't stop. Mark I, cloak, done. Next question.
It really is. Oh my God. And it's just like you need that. You need like the other thing I think they miss is, and you get it throughout these first. I think these issues and why we were breaking this up. This first issue, I think, what I would sum it up as, it also establishes the regal nature of Doom. Right. He believes that he is not only smarter and better than everybody else, but he is also, a monarch. And so nobody should dare touch Doom. You shouldn't even bump into him. You dare not question him. Like at one point, there was when reading them show up in 246, the ambassador of Latveria is there, and he says something to him to Doom, and Doom just kills him.
Yeah.
Doom was just like, "How dare you? How dare you question me?" And you need that, like.
You need to know that he rules Iron Fist. You don't have to show that he's loved, because that's a nuance to the character. Mm-hmm. You have to show that he's controlled.
Right, and you can't do that. They keep trying to do that from him just being like the owner of a company, or him being another scientist. You can't do it from there. Like, you need to have him, like, that leader. Like, you can't take away that he's a leader of a nation, because it does change the character. It brings a new sense. Character, like we said, when we bring up the difference between heroes and then heroes that are also monarchs, is different. Like, T'Challa is not really a superhero. He's the leader of a fucking nation. Different. He has different motives and different requirements and different worries than your regular superhero who just dresses up and that's what he does. Same thing with Doom. Like, you can't just make him evil without explaining that, well, that also comes just from him being, the ruler of his own nation. And it ties to that. So, yeah. So, anyway, this is, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it here. This is just
Part
the kind
one.
of...
Part one. This is the introduction to Doom.
Yeah, this is just the introduction to Doom. Like, we go to these...
It's going to get so much worse.
Yeah, this is the old stuff. This is the 80s stuff. I probably wouldn't recommend reading any of the other stuff. I'll put the links in there. The only stuff I would recommend probably is 247. Because
250?
Whatever 250, the one where the entire run where where he goes back and they realize that he's loved by his people.
Where he takes back... I think it's called... hold on, let me see the name of this. Give me 1 second. The name of the run, I know it somewhere here. In some one of these notes.
So I would say read that, and probably the first Secret Wars. The other reason why the first Secret Wars is important, and we'll definitely, I didn't want to cover it too much in here, because we're probably definitely going to come back to when we get to the last Secret Wars.
Yes.
You get him in Malakumia.
This land is Doom's land, 246 and 247.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
So yeah, those are the ones for I would read to understand why his people love him so much.
I would also read, just for me, I would say go out and read 57 through 60, because it's when he takes the Secret Service powers. And it just feeds in that same, I'm here to take power.
Yeah. And then all of that Secret Wars run. Because those 12 issues, again, he's using Owen Reese, but there's also, like, he understands, again, remember, Doom is about power. And I didn't want to cover this too much into this now, because like I said, we're getting to it later. Doom is about power, and he understands that out of everybody that was there, Reese had the most power.
Exactly.
And he had more power than Reese understood. And at one point, when he has a beyond his power, he actually removes some mental blocks from all of humanity. So, and I think that's important, because again, that sets up siege for later on when we get into Hickman's Secret Wars and New Avengers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just keep that in the back of your mind. Like we'll when we get into part 2 and possibly a part 3, probably just part 2, we'll get into more of that.
Chris.
Yeah, we'll see. Because
I'm looking right now about the stories that are like must reads.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, this is just the intro. Part 2 and probably part 3 are going to be more about runs that we read. Because when was it where he destroys? Isn't he destroys Wakanda or attacks Wakanda? What is that? That Doom Wars?
Yeah, that's way later.
Right. So that's way like
that'd be part 3.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like we got that in there. It's like
I've been going back and rereading a lot of Fantastic Four, and I was like, well, we got to read that one. And that's the other thing about this book is that we're dealing with a very long run book, and he's the chief antagonist.
Right, like some people.
So he has a lot of moments.
Some people even call him like the fifth.
They've had a lot of anniversaries and big books and. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
You're good. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but we're gonna take some time off to kind of research that stuff, get into that. What we'll do is, I don't know when we'll do. Maybe we'll throw in there next week. We'll do a quick Deadpool one because the movie comes out. Actually, would be great because I'll actually have seen the movie before we do this character corner for Deadpool.
That was him bragging, y'all. I want y'all to know that.
Yeah, it is to be bragging. So, I can see it early. But hey, listen, a week early, and the reviews come out that Saturday, so they're very confident in that movie.
Oh man!
Because you don't, yeah, the embargo for the reviews is up next Saturday. The movie doesn't come out until the following Friday. They are very confident in Deadpool, so I'm excited. So we're gonna put together some Deadpool stuff. We'll do a quick character corner on him, and then probably end of February we go ahead and come back with part 2 of our Doom stuff. Because that'll be enough time for us to kind of get everything together for that. So, again, guys, thank you very much for listening. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.